Joining me now on this Sportskeeda wrestling exclusive is a man who is known as a singer, a songwriter, and of course, an elite WWE superstar. And I'm talking about the one and only Elias. Thank you for joining me today, sir.
Hello, I am Elias, and thank you for having me. Although I'm almost jealous of you, man. You get to interact with Elias right now, and that's something I've always been jealous of people when I meet them, you know?
Well, we know that everyone wants to walk with you, and I have the privilege of doing it today.
Absolutely, a lucky man. So what's going on?
Oh, well, before we get into your actions this week on Raw and things that you've got going forward, I'd like to just say to you that, you signed with the company a few years ago, and it seemed like it didn't take very long for you to really become sort of a household name right off the bat. You've kind of got a built-in charisma. Were you always a natural performer?
Here's the thing, man. I always wanted to be a wrestler. And, of course, I looked up to guys like Shawn Michaels and Macho Man and Jake the Snake, things like that. So I don't know if I want to say I was always a natural performer, but I always had, this personality, this kind of sarcastic, arrogant, playful, what you want to call it, charismatic, whatever it was. So it's very easy for me to just do that because I feel like I'm being myself. I feel like I'm having fun. And, whatever it was in NXT, I can remember essentially the very first time I went out there and sang a song to the crowd. I can remember being in Largo, Florida, and singing a song to the crowd. And the reaction was just so... it was just so very clear that there's something there. From that point on, it's just, it's been fun ever since, man.
Well, I've had to ask you also, which came first, your dreams of being a musician or your dreams of being a wrestler? And what gave you the idea to meld the two together?
Yeah, it was wrestling that came first, man. I grew up watching wrestling, 7, 8 years old, whatever it may be. I can remember I grew up in Pittsburgh, PA. I went to SummerSlam 1995. I saw Shawn Michaels and Razor. I was like, I want to do this, but I had no idea how to go about it. And then around the time I was an early teenager, maybe 14, 15 years old, I got really into classic rock. I got really into Eric Clapton. My dad took notice. He just bought me a guitar one year when I didn't ask for it or anything. And I took to that. And then all of a sudden, it was like, hey, I can pursue wrestling and I love playing music. And there was a conversation with Dusty Rhodes eventually at NXT that kind of helped me blend the two of them together. I remember I presented, I went up there in front of the whole class and Dusty. I had my guitar. I told a little story while I was strumming, and he was like, dude, that's it, man, that's it. And the guitar's basically been with me ever since.
And every time you strike that very first chord, everyone in the audience automatically knows it's time to walk with Elias.
Oh yeah, man. They know they're going to have fun, whether, playing any side of the field. You hear that strum, especially if we're in front of live crowds and stuff like that. It's going to be a good time. You're going to be entertained. And you can guarantee I'm going to be having some fun because I get to talk and play music.
Well, I talked about your transition from NXT to WWE, but it hasn't always been a smooth ride. You've experienced some adversity and some injuries. What have you learned from those setbacks now that you've become a veteran in the business?
Yeah, wow. First off, that's a crazy thing to say that I've become a veteran in the business. But you know what, man? You're absolutely right. It's not all smooth sailing. It's more about your mindset. When I say it's been fun ever since, it's kind of about the mindset. As far as injuries, man, listen, I knew because I was a huge fan. I'm still a huge fan. And I knew exactly what I was getting into when I signed up for this. So no, injuries aren't fun. But injuries are, for a lot of us, they're part of the game. Getting beat up, tearing things, breaking things, whatever it may be. So, it's never fun. I never want to be off television or have to take time off. But it's part of the game, and you just got to move forward with it and try to come back even better with something new, with something fun.
And you've had a lot of different experiences in WWE. You've even kind of dipped your toe into the 24/7 title and had some multiple reigns. What do you think about that division, and what do you think about the stranglehold that R-Truth seems to have on the title?
Yeah, I I mean, that's essentially his title, you know what I mean? And anybody else who gets a hold of it, they're just kind of holding it until R-Truth finds a way to get it back. You know, it started out, I think, as a really fun and creative idea and a way to kind of add excitement to the show. At this point, R-Truth is like the 45-time champion or 40-time. I don't know what it is, man. It's over the top. Let's just call it the R-Truth Championship. And, you know, whatever match he has, it's kind of on the line or whatever. He's just walking around backstage and you want to get into a fight with him. It just is what it is at this point.
Another one of your recent adventures was at the Royal Rumble this year, where you entered early and you were eventually eliminated by Brock Lesnar. I know that's got to sting a little bit. Is there a confrontation with Brock in your future down the road?
I can tell you, I have no idea what Brock's going to do or what, his handler, Paul Heyman's going to have him do. I can tell you that absolutely did not go according to plan. In fact, I had a lot more in store to sing and play, and for whatever reason, and if you go watch it back, you could see the kind of look on my face where I'm like, all right, I guess this is happening. He just decided to just run down the ramp at one point or the aisleway and come after me, try to take me out. Fortunately, I ducked out of the way as this man, you can imagine, 300-plus pounds, incredible athlete, running full speed at me, tries to take my head off. I got in the ring. I mean, dude, I'm not one to make excuses, but here I am. I've got a guitar around me. I'm all hooked up to my microphone and the electrical equipment in my back pocket, and all of a sudden I find myself in the middle of a fight with Brock Lesnar. So yeah, he definitely got the better of me, but I tell you what, the next time, and I imagine there will be some point down the line, I'll be a lot more prepared for how to deal with Brock Lesnar.
Well, I guess it's time to stop beating around the bush and revisit what happened this week on Raw when you took out Jeff Hardy. Obviously, there's some bad blood there, and you exacted a little bit of vengeance. Do you want to kind of let our audience know where all this bad blood came from?
Yeah, well, first off, I don't think you were beating around the bush at all. Those were very important topics we had to cover before we get to what's going on present day. Here's the deal, man. If you guys saw SmackDown a few months back, this is before I was still on TV. I show up to the building, and Jeff Hardy hits me with the car out in the parking lot. And it's crazy. They're asking everybody else, but nobody wants to come and ask me what went down. And I'm telling you, Jeff Hardy's the man that hit me with the car. I'm back because he seemingly escaped totally free. And everybody just loves the guy. Everybody's forgiven him. And I'm letting you know, Elias hasn't yet. And, I had to smash him with a guitar, wake him up, let him know I'm back. He didn't kill me despite his best efforts. And now, I got more important things. I got my concert coming up. But also Jeff Hardy, he's put on notice, absolutely.
Well, you are blaming Jeff for this incident that occurred, but some would say there might be another culprit involved. What makes you so sure that it was Jeff?
I can't believe you're now questioning me, too. I thought it was enough of Charlie on Monday Night Raw and then all the comments on Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that. Listen, let me ask you, if you were walking down the street and a car was coming your way and you tried to get out of the way, but it was going so fast and reckless that it hit you, you think you'd know who hit you? Or would you just have absolutely no idea?
I think I would know.
Exactly. And that's the case with me, okay? And for the life of me, I'm in the hospital. I'm dealing with all this stuff. Nobody's coming to me. Nobody's checking up on Elias. Nobody's saying, hey, we're going to ask around. We're going to, mystery man clues. Somebody had red hair or whatever it is. I'm telling you, I'm the one that got hit. I know what went down.
You mentioned at your time talking with Charlie that you feel like Jeff's been given a free pass on a lot of things. Do you feel like you're the guy that's going to put an end to that?
Yeah, of course I do. He's been given a free pass on life as far as I can tell. For whatever reason, this guy, he's got some sort of charm about him, some sort of people just say, hey, it's just Jeff being Jeff. Okay, hey, that's just Jeff doing his thing. He's an enigma, right? That's what we call him, a charismatic enigma. So for whatever reason, the guy is never at fault. And it does not fly well with me, especially when my career almost came to an end.
You dropped a few hints this week on Raw that you might have a musical surprise in store for Jeff on this upcoming episode of Raw. Can you give us any hints on what that might entail?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I dropped that many hints. I was pretty direct. There's going to be a concert this week on Monday Night Raw, man. And in these times right now, let me tell you, people have been dying for something like this. They have just been dying for a concert. You know, we don't see them nowadays. And guess what? Elias is the man. I'm going to provide that to you. And I mentioned on Raw, I mentioned it right here, October 26th. I got a brand new album coming out. It's going to be great. I hope you get this. I hope you love it. Actually, I know you'll love it, but I hope you promote it on your show because I want everybody to see this on your website. But the deal is, this week, Monday Night Raw, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to put on a concert. I'm going to show Jeff, this is how you entertain people, okay? You know, you want to come out here and do your thing and flip off the top rope, crushing people, things like that. Well, Elias is going to do it in his own way. I plan on giving a little sample of what's going to come out on my album just a week after. So it's going to be really fantastic show on Monday night.
I actually checked out a preview of the album, the upcoming album on the 26th. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it's called Universal Truth. Is that correct?
That is correct. Universal Truth. You know, I go up there. I did before Jeff Hardy tried to kill me. I go up there and I say, hey, everybody knows the Universal Truth. And that is that WWE stands for Walk with Elias. And guess what? Around the world, millions of people, they say it back to me because they know it deep in their hearts. And that's what this album is going to do. It's going to touch people deep in their hearts. It's called Universal Truths. It comes out October 26th.
Well, obviously, we're going to find out a little bit more about how this whole thing plays out with Jeff Hardy. What in your mind is the end game? What do you hope to accomplish by the time this feud is over?
You know, ideally, Jeff Hardy just says, you know what, Elias, you're right. I've had enough. I apologize. And in fact, I'm just going to step aside and you know, let you just have the spotlight here on Monday Night Raw for the time being. If that's not the case, if he doesn't take it so graciously as I wish he would, you know, we'll come to blows. We'll do what we have to do, and I'll put him in his place. On top of that, I'm hoping for huge success for Universal Truth. I'd like to knock a few of the artists that are currently on the Billboard charts down a peg and let them see that Elias really belongs at the top.
Couple more for you because I know you're a busy man and a man of many talents. You mentioned obviously that you're delving in both wrestling and music at the same time. So I guess this is a two-parter to kind of close things out. What are your long-term goals in WWE, and what are your long-term goals regarding your music career?
Yeah, well, great question. And I gotta say, I mean, they kind of go hand in hand, man. Listen, I told you from the beginning of this interview, it was always my dream to be a WWE superstar. You know, now God blessed me with some incredible talents along the way, one being music. And if I can merge those two as I have and grow WWE popularity, music popularity, and kind of show that, you know, we've seen WWE produce and create these Hollywood stars for, you know, The Rock and Batista and John Cena. And maybe one day that's something for Elias. I'm not focused on that. But right now, as a music, if we can create a legitimate music star in the process of me doing my legitimate wrestling dreams, man, that would be the ideal ultimate goals there. And of course, I mean, from a WWE standpoint, winning a championship, I always love the Intercontinental Championship, the Universal, the WWE Championship, whatever it may be. I would love to have that, and I'm going to be doing everything I can to get there. And in the meantime, hey, if I can promote my music career and show the world my talent this way, all the better.
I'm going to cheat and throw in one last one. You mentioned movies in there. Is there a chance that there's some acting in your future and you become a triple threat?
Man, I like the sound of that. I really like the sound of that. Listen, I'm for being prepared for opportunities if they come my way. That's one thing. Being in WWE has absolutely taught me. You never know when or how an opportunity is going to come your way, but when it comes, make the best of it, put your whole heart into it, and good things can happen. And that's kind of a lesson for life anyways. So absolutely, man, I got to say, if acting opportunities came my way, I'd love to take a swing at it and do everything I can.
Those are words to live by for sure. I want to thank you for your time today and also remind everybody listening that the album drops on the 26th of this month, Universal Truth, and to stay tuned on Monday Night Raw to see what Elias does next. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to walk with Elias today.
Hey, you did very well. You did very well. Thank you, brother, and thank you for promoting the album there. Stay tuned, and look forward to hearing from you soon.
Thank you, sir. Have a great one.
All right. You too.